You might have noticed that I like using my YouTube channel to catapult my opinions out into the world, especially if those opinions are unpopular. This week's video will start with one of those. I think that the first 6 or 7 seasons of 2.5 Men were great television. Not only do I think it was a funny show, which is of course in the eye of the beholder, but I also think it was fairly progressive. I know that this sounds weird when talking about a show like this, but just hear me out. For anyone who doesn't know, 2.5 Men was a sitcom about Charlie Harper, a rich, womanizing slacker who has to take in his way less successful brother Alan and his underachieving nephew Jake after Alan's marriage ended. The main reason it's weird to think of this show as progressive is its sexism. In the world the show presents, every woman is selfish while every man is somewhat pathetic, so at least the writers punch into both directions. I don't think that sexism into only one direction exists anyway. If someone is sexist against women, they're automatically sexist against men and vice versa. Sexism is the world's dumbest double-edged sword. I don't know whether the show's writers realized this or whether they just thought it was funny to make fun of both men and women. Honestly, this playful equal opportunity sexism isn't a problem for me, but if you can't get over it and therefore can't see how there might be something progressive to the show, who am I to judge? I generally like it when somebody transforms a tried and true formula into something more modern. Let's say a history-inspired Broadway musical infused with hip-hop, a brutal espionage thriller starring a little girl, and yes, a family-centered sitcom in which the family is very broken but still tries to hold together somehow. Charlie, Alan and Jake all try to make the best of the situation and grow together as a 2.0 version of their family. The kind of sitcom of which 2.5 Men is a version, the domestic comedy or domcom, is so old that it originally started being a thing on radio, not television. In the long years since the rise of television, in which domcoms have always been a thing, the concept of family has changed a lot. Some people would say that it died, but I personally think that it just evolved. People aren't forced to live in traditional 2 parents of different genders and perhaps a few kids family constructs anymore. Patchwork families of all kinds are seen as normal, and even the acceptance of gay couples and such is rising. That doesn't mean that, if it works for you, you can't live in a more traditional family. For many people though, something like that just doesn't work out. That's why I think it's great that other forms of families are becoming more mainstream. Domcoms, though, seem to focus on these traditional families more often than they don't. One of the reasons behind this might actually be a show which I generally enjoy, or at least enjoy the first 10 or so seasons of, The Simpsons. That show is many things, most notably animated and more focused on satire, but at its heart it's still a domcom about a traditional family with a father, a mother and 3 children. This family might have originally been meant as a satire of other domcoms, but the problem is how popular The Simpsons got. Many domcoms which came after The Simpsons just copied The Simpsons but completely removed the irony and satire which made that show something special. While The Simpsons is generally a much more progressive show than 2.5 Men is, it might have filled the world with ideas that are far less progressive just by people not getting it. 2.5 Men might not be the only or even best domcom focusing on people trying to form a family in another way than what's considered normal, but it was really popular. Being popular automatically means being influential, as we've seen with The Simpsons. While there haven't been any popular copycats of it, I can only hope that it helped normalize the idea of a non-traditional family. Thankfully, it isn't alone in this. Lots of media that are more well respected also focus on the struggle to build some kind of family if the traditional version doesn't really work out for you. The recent Lego Batman movie, for example, in which 2 very different orphans, Batman and Robin, improve each other's lives by forming a family. I hope there will be more high quality entertainment focusing on such things. What do you think about this? Do you have any more examples? Do tell me in the comments or on social media. Check out some of my other stuff and subscribe. I hope you have a nice week in whatever family construct you feel most comfortable in, and I'll see you next Tuesday.